So welcome to my studio. It's a grey day outside, but I'm having a really magical time in here painting my beautiful garden roses. So I'm using water mixable oil and I'm painting onto an MDF board which I have already coated with 2 crisscross coats of acrylic gesso. And then before I painted on it, I waited to see which colour base I needed. And I basically have used an acrylic mix of yellow ochre, white, burnt umber to create this neutral base, which is really going to work with my colour scheme. So the roses are all from my garden and they do smell divine. I started this yesterday and I've done quite a lot of work. I've almost finished it, but as you can see the roses are dropping. So I've replaced a couple of them. The white ones I'm going to finish today and tell you a little bit about the process. So I've basically sketched out the entire loose shapes and composition. First up I did a drawing, so this was to get a feel for it using charcoal. Almost a continuous line, so I was just kind of connecting shape to shape because I want to get this feeling of the 2 vases being connected and the falling of the roses from one to the other. And here I was already beginning to play with tonal values and edges. So that was a beautiful exercise as a warm-up. Similar way I sketched this out with a round brush and burnt sienna. Then I tonk it, dry it off, and this lovely textured surface really makes it dry quite quickly. And then I've begun to block in, but I've really observed very carefully tonal changes and edges. So in a rose like this, it's very much about taking the brush stroke from the end of the petal to the beginning of the petal to the end, creating form, and it's these very dark gaps between the petals and the shadow which really bring it to shape. I've had to bring in a knife to pull up and create some hard edges, so particularly where we get the top outer edge or the ridge of a petal, to bring that out of the shadow I've used a harder application. So I must treat myself to some more Rosemary & Co brushes, but these lovely ivory hog stiff brushes have a real strong edge to them, so you're probably going to need, if you're going to paint something like this in oils, you're going to need some stiff brushes to hold the shapes or the hard edges, and some softer, these are Rosemary & Co Shiraz, they are synthetic, slightly softer but snappy brushes for the smoother, softer edges. This blue shadow, really important, the colour pulls through. Yeah, so I'm just going to paint one of these cream roses to kind of show you how I do it, and then I'm going to crack on in my own time. And if you're interested, I will post what I do on Angela Corbin Art page and put some photographs up to show you. Okay, so now we're going to move on to, I'm going to have a go at painting this one here. They've moved in the night. That's actually a replacement rose from this one, but it's pretty much the same. So I blocked in yesterday, I just marked in where my strong yellows were because they were pinging off of this beautiful rose here. Okay, so I've pre-mixed a few colours, so using a limited palette. I've got white with lemon yellow, I've got titanium white with a little bit of Naples yellow. I'm going to stop talking so I can concentrate, so I'm going to load up the brush. Actually I'm going to go for a small round. So you can use water with these water mixable oils. I'm going to put my shadow in first because that is going to define. I'm just looking to see what colour it is. So we've got the base colour of this with a little bit of grey in it. And it's those shadows which are going to create the depth. So really careful observation. There's a lot of shadow under here because this is dropping down onto here. So focus on this one for now. Right, I'm going in for my filbert brush. I'm going to load it up a bit more. So there's quite some strong yellow in there. Let's get some of those creases in the centre. It gets a bit warmer in there too. So some very subtle variations, really subtle variations on this creamy hue. White, really bright, stronger, longer folds at the bottom here. Some loading up the brush and placing and lifting. So I'm going to have to transition from the centre in through. There's a transitional layer of petals. So I'm painting what I see, but I have to be careful to keep it simple so you can read it. Sometimes putting in every nuance is too much information. The brain can't make sense of it. Some more depth down there, so you just sit back a little bit and look. So there's a little swirl, can't say that word, little swirl vortex in the centre here. It's beautiful. Wow, nature is just so amazing. And there's another layer of petals out around this external edge. It's quite a tricky one to show you. Mind you, these roses are quite challenging. I was picking up some red on the underside, which is, I think it's being reflected back with that red rose. So we're going to bring a bit of the red into the grey and the white. So it's kind of a pinky grey light being reflected back. Lovely here and here. Oh, it's a really grey autumnal day here, and the wind's picking up. It's the first or the second stormy day we've had, because we've had a wonderful autumn so far in terms of weather. So it's the perfect activity to be painting these in here. It's nice and warm in here. Okay, so it's important to keep sitting back and don't start to pick apart your work until you have finished or until you take your tea break. Trust. Trust yourself. I trust myself. Sometimes I do silly things, but I trust myself. Ultimately, I trust myself. It gets easier the more painting you do. And maybe meditation, that's a good thing. Lifestyle. Okay. Oh, what's lovely about painting is as you're painting and looking, you're just so connected to the subject and you just see these amazing things. I mean, nature's brilliant anyhow, but when I'm painting, I am just observing it all. It's amazing. Totally amazing. Oh. If you haven't tried painting, try it. Or just sit and gaze at something beautiful. So this little round brush is allowing me to bring out like a drawing edge, if you like, a little bit more specific form. And now I'm going to come from the centre, and I've got to create some height as we start to lay it out. So the way your brush stroke starts and stops will suggest the depth of a petal. Yes. It's good if you... Ooh, got all these lovely creases all going around here, these little folds of these beautiful petals. So I'm just using pure paint. Now there's a little bit of water on my brush because I'm using water mixed with oils. It's quite a lot of paint. I'm just trying to place the brush and lift. I'm drawing with the brush really. Up here. Okay, almost done with this. So I'm just going a little bit darker with my grey because there's some little... Oh, I've got to be careful not to change the colours too much. There's some little important edges that I just need to pinpoint so the form is visible. Intuitively, from experience, I kind of know what I need. I don't tend to make too many changes with a painting like this. This cream rose, I have got a wonderful rose pergola, a rose arch, and they are still growing strong. This is like the middle of October now, near the end of October, and they are going strong. Wonderful value for money, roses. They really are. I think I'm going to sit back and just well, I'll keep the flow moving. I'm going to move on to another rose in a moment, just keeping this kind of casual light feel, so we keep the brush flowing all the time. Put something in there. So now I've got to put there was a little one in there. Problem is some of these flowers have dropped overnight, so here we're going to go to that one. To avoid me fussing on any one, I'm just going to move across to another one now and start to block in the similar. That's a little bit warmer. That's just gorgeous colours, these. Okay, I'm going to sign off very shortly because I'm just going to concentrate without talking for a little bit and hopefully get this finished today. As I say, if you've enjoyed watching, or if you'd like to watch more, I will be filming more videos. I've already got quite a few on my Angela Corbin Art YouTube channel. I'm adding to them all the time, and certainly as we come into winter, I hope to do still going to do a bit of plein air painting, and I'm being slightly nutty. I'm actually quite excited about the prospect of any outdoor painting in snow, but also the prospect of wrapping up warm and painting beautiful scented flowers and maybe some pumpkins and all those atmospheric objects that make you kind of feel really happy. There'll be plenty more of that coming too. Okay, so I'm just about to finish where I am. Just need to sit back and take stock. Keep telling my students, sit back and look. Okay, so I'm just going to focus on this one. I'm going to finish this. I think I'm going to say over and out for now. And yes, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you might tune in again another time. Thank you.